Hello, this is Jimmy Mitchell, and we are back for another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. Let's get right into it. First, we have, as the 2024 campaign heats up, be wary of politicians who text jack the Bible from CNN.com by Donald Key. And I said, people will try and, create, all the narratives to control people, and religion can be one of those things, I would say. But, essentially, I would say politics has taken the place of religion these days when it comes to controlling people and forcing your standards on people. It's like, everyone in the out group is in a cult, and like the free thinkers in the in group, it's like that, people are saying, oh, you can't, the left say, oh, you need to be atheist or irreligious to get my vote, and that's just like how it's just, they're enforcing religion in their own way too, I would say. Then we have live stream premiere, season 2, episode 8, Spooky Stinky Subsidies, featuring Love and Blind Mises from the Tuttle Twins, and I posted that, and that's on YouTube, and I said, I didn't say anything, but I don't like subsidies because I think subsidies, they give the government too much to control the economy, and I think we need to get the state out of the economy. Well, I think we should just get out of the state, period, because I think the state's just too authoritarian in pushing all its standards on people, and I don't think that's something that I really care for. Then we have capitalist for-profit business removed hundreds of kidneys and sell wealthy clients, Pakistan police slave from CNN.com by Chi-Town Little 20, and I said, It turns out the headline actual is gang removed hundreds of kidneys, sell to wealthy clients, Pakistan police said. And I said, it's right, that the narrative matters a lot more than context. Then we have Liberty University. Broke safety laws for years. Government asserts individual liberty for me, but suffer my tyranny for thee. From Chi-Town 20 from the WashingtonPost.com. And, I personally think, Liberty University I don't think they're too libertarian, they're more Christian conservative, but I would say Liberty University, as long as they're not violating NAP, have every right to break whatever safety regulations they feel like, I would say, as long as the NAP isn't being violated. Then we have, as set up for disaster, California legislation requiring companies to pay for oil and gas will clean up in limbo. Oil will work socialize the cost of their profits, the primary driver of inflation. And that's by Chi-Town 20 from ProPublica.org. And, I think the thing is that, the state is the primary driver for inflation and not that the corporations, but I think people just aren't ready to accept that yet, I would say. People just want to believe that inflation is caused by corporate greed, and that simply isn't true. Then we have, by honoring a Nazi, Canada's Parliament has unearthed a troubling history from Jacobin.com by Duluth Falou. And, I didn't say I don't think I said anything here, but I definitely think that, the honoring Nazis isn't good. But it's interesting how how the left justifies it when the narrative justifies it. People will do whatever the narrative says. They don't care about actual Nazis when the narrative says otherwise. Then we have, how can this be anything but murder? And that's a crosswords from the anarcho-capitalism subreddit by Paton13. And yeah, that's pretty much how the cop just executed someone for a business owner for questioning him, and I don't think that's right. I personally think that's why we can't justify the state's monopoly on violence. We should let everyone use violence wherever they feel like it, and hopefully, if they fuck around, they'll find out. Then we have, people with autistic traits tend to have higher intolerance of uncertainty, leading to dichotomous thinking, from slypost.org by Whittling Dan. And I said, definitely a big problem you can see throughout social media these days among pretty much everyone, even those who are not on the spectrum. Then we have Rishi Sunak to ban cigarettes for Brits from Reason, and I posted that and I said, cigarettes are bad for you, but we don't need an expansion of the war on drugs. I have heard of similar policies in Brooklyn, Massachusetts, and New Zealand. Then we have AOC goes mask off at UAW rally. Viva Liberty, join together or die under the heel of lazy capitalist moochers from China 20. That's across from the Majority Report subreddit. And I didn't say any of this one, but I think I agree with the top comment from Near at 1. I thought you just like social democracy and supported authoritarianism. You know, the thing is, AOC is just another demagogue, just younger and more popular among young people. You know, she's no different than people like Nancy Pelosi. They all just want power for themselves, and they'll do whatever it takes to get that power. And they think they have a right to rule over others. Well, they don't really have a right to do that at all. No one does have a right to rule over you. And you need to if you need to remember that no one can tell you what to do, and that all authority is illegitimate if you want to think it is. Then we have Republican Congresswoman Mullen says, Matt Gaetz used to show us videos of his phone in Congress of underage girls he slept with, and Gaetz bragged about how he would crush erectile dysfunction pills and chase some energy drinks so he could go all night, not a drag queen, from China 20. This crossroads from the conservative terrorism subreddit. And the top comp by King of the Two Holes, it says, misquoted, he said, of the girls, not underage girls, which is a pretty big difference. Regardless, Matt Gaetz is a piece of shit. I said, it's Reddit. The A group is innocent until proven guilty, and the L group is guilty until proven innocent. I don't really care for Gaetz, but Reddit would defend him if he had a D next to his name. Next we have Escape from the Rabbit Hole, the conspiracy theorist who abandoned his dangerous beliefs. Your MAGA family may need a life rope and help pulling them out of the cult, from TheGuardian.com by China 20. And I think if you want to believe conspiracy theories, you think you should be able to. I think if you're not believing at least some conspiracy theory thinking at this point, you're probably just a sheep, I would say. But it's important to remember that, you should always question everything and everyone, and free your mind, think of everyone's intentions and what they want you, and how they might want to get to force their ways upon you, and how you try and don't try and force your ways upon other people, like how people want to force people to submit to their narratives or else. Then we have Jim Jordan was handing out Google lobbyist memos during antitrust reform. He protected big tech during the Trump years from Mike Cernovich on Twitter, and I posted that. And I said, they are all pretty much interchangeable. And I linked another video. Even Bernie will have you arrested for holding up his own quote. Then we have Amazon sued by FTC from Engaged Ape from SXHX News. And that is, I personally think, corporate authoritarianism isn't good, but I don't think government authoritarianism is the answer to it, I would say. And that's something that you're seeing here from the FTC. Then we have Biden administration waives 26 federal laws to allow border wall construction from Ninja Lover, and that is from abcnews.go.com. And I said, kids are still in cages as well, but I don't think the Reddit left will care as much when Biden does it. Then we have what should be the punishment for wage slavery from Conrad Proudhon, and he says, as a left libertarian, I think it is ironic the U.S. claims to have abolished slavery, and in fact it has never been more prevalent. The working conditions at minimum wage plantations like Walmart are often worse than those of the pre-war cotton fields. How should the modern-day Thomas Jefferson be punished? Let life imprisonment, a taste of their own medicine. I can't wait for the far-right conservatives on the sub to either downvote and ignore or deflect and deny. And I personally think, I do think wage slavery is a real thing, I would say. But, the thing is, everyone, in a society that relies off cheap labor, that's going to be kind of inevitability. Otherwise, I think everyone probably owns some clothing made in sweatshops in countries like Vietnam or China or Cambodia, something like that. And you have to remember that's very much inevitability of what we need to produce, and that's important to remember. And yeah, so I do think, slavery is going to always be around in some form until we have a system that we can get everything for free. But I don't know if that's coming anytime soon. Even if in the age of the internet, automation's still pretty far off, I would say. Because food just doesn't, you can't just have robots create the food and then give it to you. You need to either get the food from the farm or the cattle or whatever, and that's important to remember. Then we have record chicken prices squeeze U.S. shoppers but benefit Tyson's Foods. Authoritarian fascist capitalism creating artificial scarcity and hunger to build bigger profits from Reuters.com by Chai2020. And I don't think I said anything on this one, but I personally think, that's just kind of the market, how people really, there might not be enough chickens for everyone who wants one, and that's why they have to raise prices on them, because that's how capitalism sadly works, I guess. Then we have U.S. budgetary costs of post 9/11 wars through fiscal year 2022, $8 trillion from Watson.Brown.edu from Frosty Slawman. And that is, I would very much agree on that, because, the U.S. just loves spending on its military and giving money to other countries like Ukraine and Israel and just policing the world in general. Then we have America's non-religious are a growing diverse phenomenon. They really don't like organized religion, and that's from APnews.com by Whittling Dan. And I said, are atheism and its consequences. And, I personally am more on the religious side. I don't consider myself overly devout, but I think people should be able to have whatever religion they want. I don't think you should bully someone because of what they believe, as long as they're not hurting anyone else or stealing from them. Everyone has to believe in something. If you wonder why politics is so toxic right now, it's because they have replaced religion for a lot of people. Then we have Justin Amash announces he will not be seeking a presidential bid from a crossword from the Libertarian Party USA subreddit, and I said, sad, maybe next time. Then we have 100,000 likes deleted under tweets describing Musk's pro-Russian views from Twitter subreddit, crossword Twitter subreddit by Chai2020, and I definitely would think that's kind of censorship, I would say, and I don't think that's good. We should be able to see everyone's likes, and I think that's something a lot of people would agree with. Then we have an excellent middle ground proposal to keep funding Ukraine responsibly from themessenger.com by Patom13, and I think, Ukraine isn't the 51st state. I do agree that we do have an obligation to defend Ukraine if it comes down to it, but I definitely think, I think we should be, if people want their money to go to Ukraine, I think they should send it to Ukraine directly, and if the U.S. government gets to Ukraine, they can send it directly, but I don't think we should have taxpayer dollars directly to Ukraine, and that seems like what we're getting right now, I would say. Then we have, with no opposition in the room, a rural Texas county makes traveling for abortion on its road illegal from Clorox, and that's crossword from the conservative terrorism subreddit, and I said, it's unenforceable virtue signaling. The state can already pull you over for any reason it wants to. Then we have U.S. Nutrition's panels tries to top food giants reveal new report from TheGuardian.com. And I would agree with that. That's from Trusty Stallman, and I said I would agree with that. Big business. I would agree with that. Big business. Agree with that. Big business. Big government. Big media and big pharma, etc., are all one and the same. Then we have Charlie Kirk refers to Democrats as maggots, vermin, and swine from MediaMatters.org by Nick Concussions. And I said, I see, no, it's not. I said, where is it? There it is. I said, when the out-group does something dehumanizing, it's the worst thing ever. When the in-group does it, then it's either justified or swept under the rug. And then I said, I don't care for it, but I have seen plenty of name calling on the left as well, and I linked a tweet from Define L's, and that was Jim Malbowman tweeting on October 2nd of this year. I just being aware that our messaging guidance there was an inappropriate use of the term Nazi. Without my consent, I condemn the use of the term Nazi out of its president's definition. It is important to specify the term Nazi for the membership of the Neonazi Party and neo-Nazis. But then on March 7th of this year, he tweeted, American rules is Nazi hell, but on keeping only white men alive and in power. We cannot allow them to ever express their evil agenda and want to stand up for the transgender rights. GPAC has made one thing very clear this year. They support a future run by Nazis like nose. And that just goes to show you that, the left will throw words like Nazi, fascist, and racist, etc. at you. And that's just, they can do not play name calling as well, but when that happens, it's the in-group really doesn't care. Then we have, is Bidenomics different from Trumponomics from Cato.org by Ruin My Circle Jerk? And I personally would say no. I personally think they're all the same neoliberal BS. Then we have America needs to talk about the right's Red Caesar plan for U.S. dictatorship. Thought leaders of the far right talk openly about a 2025 dictatorship. People need to be alarmed from Inquirer.com by Chachano20. And I said, fuck that, but you just want a dictator who agrees with you, You have, if you look at what the WEF puts out, or Agenda 2030, or the Great Reset, or Build Better, etc., they all pretty much say the same thing in addition to this, I would say. We need to give the state total control of everything to stop climate change and all the other great civilization problems our society is facing. Don't give in to either branch of the authoritarian uniparty. Then we have, after inadvertently hailing SS vet, Trudeau made a classified list of ex-Nazis in Canada, now it's Biden's turn from TimesReview.com by Chachano20. And I said, a list of people who are very old or very dead. Don't let this distract you from the fact that Trudeau is still the top authoritarian in Canada. Then we have Ronald Reagan versus 2024 Republicans on YouTube by Ruin My Circle Jerk. And yeah, I definitely would agree that that's a video from Reason TV. And I definitely would agree that Reagan was more pro-immigration. That's probably one of the few things I really agree with Reagan on. He's probably not one of my top 5 or top 10 least favorite presidents. And then I think that might be it for this episode, and I'll see you guys next episode. Bye.